Morning party people, cats and dogs, all sentient beings. I do hope this vid finds you well. Right, no tarot or oracle in this vid, but I feel the need to talk about COVID and mental health again. A few days back, I spoke about COVID, mental health and homeschooling. Largely that vid focused on me and how I was feeling. But after a conversation with Beloved this morning on Messenger, we spoke about the virtual world and how virtual learning in a virtual world isn't sustainable for us or for our children. And I really want to address these matters about the virtual world, the virtual homeschooling and our children's mental health. Now, we can focus on our mental health as adults, but ultimately our children are our future generation and the future of this planet. And they are precious gifts and we love them, and they must always come first. No discussion on that. There's no ambiguity on that. Kids first, always. And when I say mental health first and kids first, it's a very important topic. So welcome to COVID, mental health, and the virtual world, social media, part 2. Okay, this is my my personal opinion and view on this. This isn't scientifically proven or anything like this. This is just my view and my opinion on COVID and mental health and the virtual world. Now, we've been under lockdown. I think this is our third run of lockdown here in the UK. The first one, we were all plunged into it very unexpectedly. Everything was closed. It seemed like the world was closed. No homeschooling. There was just nothing. I tried for a couple of days, gave up. The schools hadn't quite, I think, gained their own balance to put work together back in March last year. So we're all kind of suspended for a bit. Massive shock. We were briefly let out, so to speak, under restricted conditions through the spring and through the summer. And then coming into autumn, shit started to kick off again. Christmas, December, I think, to be fair, was Christmas, and it was a month, and it did kind of flash by for us, to be fair. Kids were still in school on that second lockdown, so they still had human interaction. Now, this is a topic I really want to talk about properly. Kids love gaming and kids love using tablets, all kinds of technology, phones. We use Xboxes, Nintendo Switches, whatever it is that your kids do or do not have. I have always, as a pagan, I've always brought my children up to appreciate nature, to be out and about, to be creative. And as a creative artist myself, there's canvas, there's paint, there's pencils, anything you could possibly wish and desire for in this house on a creative level is here in stock, in abundance. My kids are quite lucky in that respect. However, outdoor liberty and freedom is not in abundance, and try as I might to be their mum and provide for them everything I can, I can't provide the ability and the allowance for that because I'm not allowed to, because I've been told I'm not allowed to, because we are prisoners here at home under lockdown. And let's face it, we bloody are, okay? And we have been for the best part of a year. My late nan used to talk to me about World War II and all the things that she went through. And I say to her, God, Nan, how did you even live like that for 6 years? And she said, quite matter-of-factly and quite no-nonsensely, we just did, Ailey, she said. We just got on with it. And I could never quite comprehend it. But now those words have rolled round in my head several times. She's been past 10 years now, bless her soul. And I'm just thinking, you were a wise woman. You were a strong woman. You were a resilient woman. Now, my late mum never lived a war, and she never lived this. And I'm sure she sat up there on her cloud or wherever she is, thinking, geez, what the blooming heck is going on down there? I'm well out of this. And I'm sure that's probably what she thinks. But getting back to us and now and the here and now and this COVID madness and this lockdown and this homeschooling and this virtual reality that has become reality, it's become the new norm, but I'm refusing to accept that this is the new norm. I am hanging on with everything I've got and keep impressing upon my kids, this is temporary. It's the only bit of verbal hope we've bloody got at the moment. Kids used to love gaming, kids used to love being online, kids' screen time, it was always me trying to keep it to a minimum, keep a balance, keeping out there through the woods, over the moors, playing in the garden, drawing, painting, meditating, sat by the fire pit with hot chocolate and marshmallows in the summer evenings, things like that. Just generally being in touch. I'm a 70s and 80s kid, right? I was born in 75, so we didn't have technology like that then, okay? It was a different world. I wouldn't say it was a better world, it was just a different world, okay? So I'm used to being out, I'm used to being barefoot all summer, I'm used to not having a phone and people just not knowing where I am for hours. I'm not saying that's right, but it's what I'm used to. So I grew up in a generation where all my daft teenage exploits were not captured on a smartphone. It had its advantages. But, and I grew up in a world where you just basically lived on your wits. You used your brains, you thought for yourself. But I also grew up in a world where there was human interaction. There was air. There was outdoors. Okay, I won't say fresh air because I grew up in Greater London. There's no fresh air there, just lots of crime and concrete. But enough of that. Back to our kids and mental health. My two eldest kids have been really, really good with their Zoom lessons, with their scheduled lesson programs that the schools have so thoughtfully, so carefully and so meticulously put together for them day after day after day. And schools, respective schools for the eldest two, I salute you and I thank you. If you watched my last video, you'll know my opinions and my views on the schooling for the youngest one. We won't go into that here, okay? It's getting to the point now where the virtual world isn't enough. I can see a decline in my kids' mental health. I'm talking to them constantly. I'm making sure I buy them their favourite food all the time. Food isn't just physical, is it? It's emotional and it's mental as well. I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to bleed every resource I can just to try and make my kids' restricted lives just that little bit happier. But ultimately, I can't give them what they so desire. And that is varied, regular human contact with their peers. This is so difficult. The only other adult I see is my beloved, okay? Other than that, it's people in the checkouts at Asda or Sainsbury's or wherever it is you go, okay? I don't even see the posties anymore, okay? They just literally a flash, a fluorescent past the window, and that's it. I haven't seen the neighbours in God knows how long. I don't see anybody else apart from my kids every day and the time that my support bubble we are able to connect, okay? Other than that, I don't see another human for 3 weeks sometimes. And it's become such the norm that it's disturbing. But my kids, they haven't seen their peers since last year. We're in February now. They're probably not going to see them till April. And whether there's a screen time or a FaceTime, they still need to be with their peers. It's getting to the point now where I'm trying to get them up in the morning. They don't even want to log on to their virtual learning. They're giving up. I can see they're giving up. And as try as I might, and I'm really trying to impress stuff. It was a snow day yesterday here in West Yorkshire. Mental amber warning, blizzard, crazy. Do you want to go out and build a snowman, kids? No. What do you want to do? No. They don't want to do anything. There is depression. There is mental health issues. No point ringing up and offering us help to stick us on a waiting list that's bloody useless. Watch my last video. Follows on from that. We can't do anything. You guys can't do anything to help my kids. We're just stuck here like sitting ducks. And this is devastating, okay? So, you say to the kids, when are we going to see our support bubble next? You tell them, well, maybe this. And the excitement you get for a couple of minutes. But then they come down realising they can't actually see another human being until that time. A life of counting down days. A life of wishing. A life of looking through the window at the world outside that isn't going on. This is devastating. This is like a living death. And our poor kids need everything that we can give them, and we're running on almost empty ourselves. It's a real battle. The war isn't with this vaccine. The war isn't with this disease. The war is with our mental health. And this household here is very tactile, very open. The communication here is super. We like to talk and we talk a lot. We're very honest, we're very open. And even though, they're young teenagers, cuss words are allowed indoors because they're seen as a form of expression. It's quite liberal and free, but honest and kind here. And my kids are still struggling. Okay. I dread to think about the kids that are living in domestic violence environments where they've got parents that hate each other, parents that are fighting, and you're all locked in together. Those poor children that are being abused themselves. My heart goes out to you guys. I can't imagine the terror that you're living. But the fact that we live in a free, liberal, peaceful, calm, creative household here, and we're all still struggling. Guys, the struggle is real and it's devastating. I don't know when this is going to end, and I can't think of how else I can help. So I keep buying the bake in the oven cinnamon buns. I keep buying the extra tub of popcorn. I keep saying you can stay up an extra half hour later. I keep hugging. I keep talking. I keep doing everything that I can with the limitations I'm being given. But really, what your children are not saying to you is what's important. I know you're struggling as well, grown-ups. Yeah, I know the whole world is struggling. Yeah, guys, get off your tech. Go and hug your kids, because I bet you something you could do with that hug too, couldn't you? I needed to talk about this. This vid hasn't really got any foundation or any guidance or any real advice, but I just felt that I needed to get it out and I needed to talk about it. But I can see the decline in my kids, and my kids live in a good, balanced, normally happy environment. And whilst the good, balanced, calm, happy environment they continue to live in, they're still struggling with their mental health, and this is inevitable. So when I say COVID ain't the biggest killer, but mental health is, I stand by it, guys. Government, sort it the fuck out, please. We need our kids back at school, not just to get off of our hands, but we need them back at school so they can interact with humans again, so they can reconnect to the world, so that they can remember how. Because what we're breeding, really, we're breeding a generation of kids that are in solitary confinement. They're not going to know how to behave in the world. And what kind of a world and what kind of a future is that for us? And as we're now into the brand new age of Aquarius, this is supposed to be enlightenment. It's not looking very positive, is it? Guys, I know you're doing a great job. You're doing the very best you can. Don't force the homeschooling. Cut your kids a bit of slack. But make sure that you tell them every day you love them. And tell them you know their struggles. And I'm sure most of you are. But I have to say this out loud. As much as we're struggling, always apologise when we're wrong. Always tell them we love them. Be honest. And tell them that we understand their troubles too. Because being a kid, they look to us for guidance, and we can't do anything for them at the moment. Put the media away. Put the tech away. Tell them it's not going to be forever, because it won't. That's pretty much all I've got to say, guys. But I really did need to talk about that. And our kids' mental health is absolutely paramount. Not just because they're our future world, but because they're our beloved kids. The ones that we wished for, the ones that we hoped for, the ones that we cried with emotion as we brought them earthside, hugged them and promised them everything would be all right. Everything will be all right if we keep at it. Let's look after their hearts, and let's look after their heads, and let's all love one another. Until the next time, beautiful party people. Lots of love. Peace out.